Unseen at sight. Sculptures of men in robes or uniforms or mounted on horses appear defiantly triumphant. Sprinkled with droppings, they're still commanding. King Zeus keeps aiming his spear. Rodin's Balzac scowls, while Dreyfus grips the broken sword of his injustice like a cross. Sculpted nude, the bodies of women command in silence. No crowns or robes, no uniforms, no horses. Forever in their prime, they wait in stone. They know their breasts and thighs are whispers destined to be overheard. No longer hidden by clothes, they let their bodies speak without a gesture or a word. That's the power of the female body.
Right. And the difference between men and women is something that comes up in this book as well. I like the way that this poem conveys the kind of the action orientedness of men versus women just being, and their power is just in their being. Well, and go ahead.
You mentioned one poem earlier where there's a reference to Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lincoln's natural mother, Nancy Hanks, who is related to Tom Hanks, by the way, the actor.
Oh, interesting.
Nancy Hanks died when he was 8. He had an older sister, Sarah, who died as a teenager.
Right.
His father, Tom Lincoln, at that time when she died, had 2 children, Sarah and Abraham Lincoln. And he needed somebody to raise them because he was a farmer in Indiana. So he went back to Illinois, to Kentucky. There was a widow, proposed to her. She had 3 children. She accepted. She came back. And she literally fell in love with Abraham Lincoln. She gave him the King James Version of the Bible. She gave him Aesop's Fables. She gave him Pilgrim's Progress. She taught him how to read and write.
Right.
Now, I asked an audience once, I said, you know what her name was? I said, I didn't know. One person said, I think I know. Her name was Sarah Johnson Bush when she was married. Sarah Johnson. All right, now just think about it. Had that woman not done what she'd done, Abraham Lincoln would never have gone to law school. He'd never been a lawyer, never been elected, never been president. And had he not been president, we would not be the country we are right now. All because of one woman whose name nobody knows.
Right. Yeah.
And if she came back from the dead, that would be the way she'd want it.
Yeah.
He went up to her and said, you did a great job, Sarah. She said, oh, come on.
Well, that's what I was, that's kind of what I was saying before I introduced you onto the show about, why I'm happy if women listen, if mothers listen to this, this show, because their role is so important. And I would love to know that I'm assisting them in some way.
Mothers, you say, are listening.
Yeah, well, I hear from moms,
So I'm a great believer. I think now that I'm an old salt, I think women are the stronger gender.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they're capable of sacrifices that are unmentionable, but influential in the best sense.
Right.
And if they're doing something for somebody they love, that's the reward. They don't want it publicized. You don't put a mother's stamp on a face on a stamp. You don't name a building after her. Men
Hmm.
like that. Women shy away from that. It spoils
Right.
what they've done. It literally spoils it. And yeah, I've come to that conclusion. They have, and they have, I think, a deeper sense of life in many ways because women are verbs. Women are men are nouns, but women are verbs because life is happening within them all the time.
You mentioned these body parts of these sculptures, but it's not in a prurient way at all, and it's in a way that's a tribute to the dignity of women, and that's something that art can do with the human body. Actually, you have a whole other poem about different painters their approach to nude paintings of women. But that's something that this poem got across in a really kind of understated way. But yeah, just you know the way that a sculpture can change how we see into something less uh exploitative, or whatever word you want to use.
Yeah, it's statuesque. I mean, it's undeniable.